From a terrific scene in Lawrence to an always wonderful college football scene here in Baton Rouge at Death Valley. The first time Tennessee and LSU both ranked to play each other since the 2007 SEC championship game. This is a big one for both programs as we welcome you to college football presented by Marathon and the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Hi again, everyone. Bob Wischusen here with Dan Orlovsky. Chris Budden will join us in just a moment. And NFL analyst Todd McShay is with us here as well. There's a lot of talent to talk about on this field for both teams. And Dan, let's get right to it. Both programs looking to re-elevate. Certainly for Tennessee. It's been a while. It's been a rocky road on Rocky Top, but now they are back in the top 10. It's good to see.
Number 8 in America. That's their highest ranking since 2006. They are there because of their quarterback, Hendon Hooker, who, if the Heisman Trophy was given out today, would be the guy who won it. When it comes to college football and what you're asked to do and how well you're doing it, he belongs with the C.J. Strouds and Bryce Youngs, Caleb Williams, Stetson Bennett. Absolutely. He leads America's best offense, America's fastest offense. That being said, he has not played a defense like he will today in LSU, nor an environment like this place. Tiger Stadium right now is absolutely on fire.
Chris Budden won the toss and elected to receive. So they're going to try, Dan, to set the tone with their offense. And you'd have to think with their run game early to try and free up Jaden Daniels, just make him a little bit more comfortable.
We'll get into Jaden Daniels in this LSU pass game a bunch over the next 3.5 hours, but they have the ability to turn around and hand the ball off to senior John Emery, a physical presence, Brian Kelly and his staff. No, that's the best chance they have to settle in their quarterback.
It's a short kick. And it's taken at about the 17-yard line, but fumbling the football was Gregory Clayton. And right in front of the Tennessee bench, the Vols have it.
Jack Besh, a kind of in-betweener, tight end, wide receivers running up. They got two guys back if you're LSU, knowing Tennessee kicks it 50% to the right, 50% to the left. Ball went right through his hands.
Let's head down to Todd McShay for an early report.
Yeah, one thing I noticed right before is that literally as the kicker was addressing the ball, Besh told the other guy, the other returner, to swap, and he swapped over to the left side. The ball was kicked to him, and he wound up muffing the kick. Huge moment, but prior to the kick, it was Besh's decision. Interesting.
So it was Clayton on the far side. Besh switched sides, usually the more sure-handed return man, and he muffs it. So Hendon Hooker, golden opportunity to start with Jabari Small. His first carry, one snap, and Tennessee knocking on the door of the red zone. As fast a team offensively as there is in college football, and they are in the red zone. It's Jabari Small again. Greg Penn makes the tackle. But just like that, 2 carries and a first down to the 16-yard line.
This LSU defense has not given up a score in 14 red zone possessions.
Hooker off play action. Inside the 10-yard line. Down to about the 5-yard line. That should be good for a first down, a gain of 11. Ramel Keaton playing in place of Cedric Tillman. He made a terrific diving catch in last week's win, or a couple of weeks ago, against Florida. A crease. Jabari Small just short of the goal line inside the 2. So Jay Ward commits the personal foul. That'll put the ball just inside the 1-yard line. It'll be first and goal, and boy, this offense likes to motor.
It's 20 seconds between when the play gets dead previously, ball snapped, until the next ball gets snapped. Imagine the communication that everybody's get on the same page defensively.
Up the middle, Jabari Small, a Tennessee touchdown. Rocky Top strikes first, the 5th rushing touchdown of the season for Jabari Small. McGrath tacks on the point, and it is 7-0 Tennessee.
Well, it starts off with the kickoff, and Jack Bech coming up. Ball goes through his hands, recovery by Tennessee, and then let's credit Tennessee offensively. Couple runs, ball out to the outside, and then Jabari Small follows his senior tight end, Preston Fant, off the right edge. Beautiful job by Tennessee capitalizing off that early mistake from LSU. And one of the things that Tennessee has really become almost a program landmark under Josh Heupel is how good they play early on in football games. They score almost 14 points a game in the first quarter, so they game plan well, they start hot, their offense comes out and does a great job of execution, certainly aided there by LSU.
Well, they're now outscoring their opponents this season in the first quarter, 48-10 after that opening touchdown. Of course, if the opposition hands you a giveaway at their own 25-yard line, you're bound to get off to a good start.
Let's credit them, though. I mean, LSU's defense in the second half, 14 straight possessions of not giving up any score. That's well done.
Bech with a fair catch this time. Back to the goal line, so it will come out to the 25-yard line. He'll start through the air. Long throw to the outside of the freshman tight end, Mason Taylor. And Chris, how about that drama between Jaden Daniels and his pass catchers?
He tried to address it this week. He called a players-only meeting with his wide receivers to get on the same page. He said, we have to have each other's back. He goes, it's up to me. We have a talented wide receiver core. I got to get the ball in your hands.
And can they unleash Kayshon Boutte today? He's the middleman, trips to the far side. Instead, they're going to run it with Josh Williams on 2nd down and 5, so now it will be 3rd down and 3.
Well, Boutte is one of the most talented players in college football. If he came out and decided he wanted to go to the NFL today, he's probably a top 15, top 20 pick. Todd's going to talk a lot about that. They got to move him around a little bit, though, to kind of force feed him the football. He's that talented of a player.
He's in the slot left on 3rd down. There's the slant right through the hands of Boutte and incomplete.
And they do a good job putting him in the slot. They get pressure and he replaces. Watch it how it's on his back right shoulder, though. Too talented of a player to let that drop happen, I will say that. But also, you'd love to see Jaden Daniels, who has had some struggle, put that ball right on his face mask. It's a 7-yard throw. Two good players not executing at the highest level possible.
Jay Bramblett will punt it away to D. Williams, who's playing for the first time this season today. And Bramblett just gets it away, and it's a good kick. From the 16, Williams makes the first man miss. Gets loose. Williams with another gear. Down the sideline, only the punter to beat. And Bramblett saves a touchdown.
Talked about Tennessee starts early on in football games. What a beautiful job of blocking, right? Good vision. There's a seam, burst through. Do not let the punter take you down. Awesome job by Bramblett, saving a touchdown. But Tennessee, first possession off a turnover, second possession, both inside the 30-yard line, giving America's best offense right now short fields. Can't let the punter tackle you. Only McAfee can tackle you.
It's 1st and 10. Right back where the first possession after a special teams mishap for LSU started for Tennessee. Little wide receiver screen, eaten down the sideline. Boy, Dan, we spent all week analyzing offense, analyzing defense. We spend very little time talking about special teams. How about special teams in the first stanza of this game? It's completely flipped the script.
Absolutely. Number 18 in America has been gifted twice.
Small, brought down at the line of scrimmage.
These 32 situations, Tennessee plays so spread out offensively. Often they like to shrink down. Look at the formation now with all 10 guys stacked in the middle.
Nothing doing. 35-yarder for Chase McGrath. And he's got it. 10-0 Tennessee. It's Brian Kelly's team down early.
ESPN College Football is presented by Marathon. Get the most out of your drive. And in part by DirecTV. Get your TV together.
Plenty of orange here in Baton Rouge. This is only the 15th all-time pre-noon kickoff here at Tiger Stadium. They were in the building, certainly. It didn't seem to bother them. They all set their alarms.
The place is filled, let's just say that. And it's been since about 5 a.m.
Besh from the 4. This one he's going to try to run back. And he won't get far. Our first opportunity to say hi to Matt Barry. Josh Williams to the left of Jaden Daniels in the shotgun. And they get Booty on a jet sweep. He's going to get bottled up near the line of scrimmage. Maybe found his way through traffic for a yard. But in case you're just joining us, Jack Besh muffs the opening kick. Short field for Tennessee. They go in for a touchdown. And D. Williams with a 58-yard punt return. And a good job by the LSU defense to get a stop and hold to only a field goal. Play action, the blitz picked up. All day to throw for Daniels. He gets to the sideline, nowhere to go with the football, and gets chased out of bounds. Roman Harrison bumped him out. Let's get to the impact plays.
Well, for LSU offensively, we already talked about Kayshon Boutte. He has not been an impactful player so far this year. For them to win today, he's going to have to be. And then Jeremy Banks, fifth-year senior linebacker, their most physical player on their team, certainly on their defense. He's going to have a big afternoon, both in coverage and against the run.
Too many men on the field for LSU.
Legal substitution, offense, 12 players in formation, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Underneath, the catch made by Besh. Out across the 25-yard line, he's got the first down. Huge early third down conversion. Swing pass to Williams. Speed down the sideline. A first down and more. Near midfield before he's finally brought down. He picked up 20. Hand off to Williams. He picks up about 4. What do you mean when you say that about Daniels? What do you see that he's not reacting and he's maybe thinking too much?
Paralysis by analysis. He looks at things so long and he wants to be so good and not hurt his team that he starts to overthink things. What are the bad stuff that can happen rather than just go trust your eyes and your natural instincts when you play fast.
There's a little pop pass to Booty. And it looks like he's got the first down. So we'll step aside. The Vols with the early 2-score lead. We return with today's road test, brought to you by Goodyear. And so far, the Vols passing the road test, helped out by the Besh muff on the opening kick of the game. And they were able to go over with the short field, Jabari Small's 5th rushing touchdown of the season. Then D. Williams in the lineup for the first time this season. Gets into the act with a 58-yard punt return, saved only by the punter Jay Bramlett, or he would have gone the distance. That resulted in a field goal for Tennessee, and the Vols have the 10-0 lead. Bob Wischusen, Dan Orlovsky, Chris Budden, Todd McShay, all with you here at Death Valley. And after the Tennessee defensive timeout, an empty backfield for Jaden Daniels. John Emery in the game for the first time, shifts to Daniels' right. A keeper for Daniels, has a crease, and there's a face mask. Tech 15 extra on as the flags fly from everywhere. Jeremy Banks got the mask. Emery bottled up right at the 20-yard line. No gain on first down. Dominic Bailey in on the stop for Tennessee.
Emery's such a physical presence for this offense. He is by far their best tailback. He's their most explosive of their group as well. If they can consistently use him in their run game, the ask out of Jaden Daniels will become so much easier.
Last week against Auburn, John Emery had a grown man touchdown run.
Yeah, he did.
And it was a game changer. Here he is again. Can't break free. It's a gain of 2. Again, Bailey, part of the group up front to make the stop for Tennessee. So now a big third down in the red zone for the Bayou Bengals. 3rd down and 8.
So right now, Jaden Daniels, you got points. So the big thing is do not run around and try to do something that is going to hurt your team. If you get pressure because both tackles are out, put your foot in the ground and go become an athlete.
Here comes a blitz. Out of the pocket is Daniels. He's going to try and run for it, and he'll get down inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. They'll actually mark him down, it looks like, at the 14, so it's 4th down and 4. And the offense looking over to the sideline to see what the coach wants to do.
I love the decision by Daniels. If I was Brian Kelly, I'd think about kicking this. The momentum has been so heavy on Tennessee's side to start this game. Go get points here, you feel good about this possession.
It looks like the offense will stay on the field and go for it.
And for crossers out of this bunch concept, cross in the middle of the field.
Booty in motion. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. A check down. Reaching the ball out is Booty. Did he get it to the line again? Let's see. They reviewed the spot of the Booty reach while we were away. The call on the field stands. So Dan, Tennessee with a takeaway on downs.
This moment right now, freeze it. Like, see that? He trips over Emory Jones, the tackle. Booty's on the ground. They were trying to motion him just to get him into the flat route. And it's really upon Jaden Daniels and the snap point. You got to let him basically get to the tackle, clear, and then ball gets snapped.
Well, here's the first chance for LSU's defense, at least, with field position on their side. A screen out to Small, and Jabari Small up the sideline, out of bounds at the 14-yard line for a gain of 3.5. Hooker avoids a sack, gets loose. Out to the 25-yard line. Boy, just a subtle little shoulder duck gets Hendon Hooker out of trouble. He picks up 11.
Great decision making in the midst of chaos. Had really 2 options to push the ball downfield. Aggressively chose not to. Great decision.
Up the middle goes Small for 4 or 5 more. How about this composure in the pocket?
Yeah, watch it. He really wants to go right now the middle of the field. That right there in that moment, his ability to kind of, nope, I don't want to do that, tuck the ball down and become a runner is something that he's done really special this year.
Brew McCoy gets a block and a stiff arm down the sideline across the 50-yard line to the LSU 46 before he is finally brought down.
This is just getting a big player with the ball in space. McCoy just a 3-step little hitch. You got blockers out front. He's a big-time bowling ball with the ball in his hands. The transfer from USC, 6'3", 220 pounds. Said the best decision he's made in his life is going from USC to Tennessee. He's come on the past couple weeks.
Now, offensive coordinator Alex Golish, we met with him yesterday. He said we didn't really have or know what we had in Brew McCoy until we got him on the practice field.
And I think the thing that he kind of stood out to them when it came to Brew was how good he is with ball in hand, and that plays a perfect example of it.
Tennessee beats the play clock as they were substituting. There's McCoy again. Another 1st down.
You know, Bobby, one of these things with the Tennessee offense is the receivers play so close to the sidelines, 53 1/3 yards wide. It stretches you out defensively. It creates you to play a little soft on the corner because it's so many one-on-one matchups. And if you lose that one-on-one matchup with all the space that is there, there's big-time plays waiting to be happened. So, you know, a lot of the things for their offense is pitch and catch to the perimeter.
Jalen Wright, a good run on 1st down, and that quick tempo pitch and catch neutralizes these pass rushers. Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, B.J. Ojolari, he could wreck the game. Hard to get to the quarterback if it's out.
Because it's coming out so fast. And as a defense, it forces such a high level of communication and discipline.
Right again. Popped at the line of scrimmage and driven back, but it looks like he moved the pile, and he's got the 1st down.
And going back to that scramble by Hendon Hooker, that's the thing I think he does the best for this offense. They play so fast pre-snap, but he plays so slow post-snap with his decision-making.
Play action. He's out of the pocket again. He's going to hoist one towards the end zone, incomplete. Hooker did not get nearly the mustard on that pass that he wanted, intended for Ramel Keaton as he was fighting his way through contact. Right. Spun down after a gain of a couple. Greg Penn was able to make the hit and bring him down after a gain of only 2. So a big third down coming here. And it looks like Jalen Wright lost his helmet, so he has to leave the field for at least one play. Jabari Small is back in. How about these incredibly wide splits as well for these receivers for Tennessee?
Yeah, they stretch it side down the sideline. It's all about creating space in the middle of the field, really. Now, if they're going to win, LSU, this guy and that guy better have a big down right here. 18, Ojulari, 11, Ali Gay. They got to get after the quarterback on this down.
4-man rush. Hooker to the back right corner of the end zone. That must have been a miscommunication. Jalen Hyatt was the closest to it, but he broke his route off just inside the 5-yard line.
Really good job by Ojulari, left side right there. Dip inside, that forces Hendon Hooker to move. Miscommunication between him and his receivers. How about the LSU defense so far? 3 times ball's gotten really in the red zone. They have forced at least 2 field goal attempts.
This one from 38 yards away for Chase McGrath. And the grad transfer from USC is 2 for 2. So it's a 13-0 Vols lead. Back to Matt Barron. We've got a 13-0 game here with 2.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. A game dominated so far by Tennessee, but special teams momentum changing plays early, a big reason why this is a 13-0 Vols lead.
A little bit of mistake too, right, out of LSU. The fumble by Besh on the opening kickoff, and then that 4th down in the red zone when they go aggressive and try to get the ball to Booty, and he trips over the tackle. Without those 2 plays, this game might be very different right now through almost the end of the first quarter.
Paxton Brooks. A short kick, and this time a fair catch called for at the 10-yard line by Besh. Pressure up the middle, and Jaden Daniels never had a chance. The freshman, Josh Josephs, just about untouched.
They call this an ET. You're going to watch this guy go in and then Joseph skim underneath. That's great job by Speed. They put him out there on purpose. They understand that Joseph's, the freshman out of Georgia, is an athlete. They want athletes going right up in the middle on early downs at Jaden Daniels. Beautiful 2-man stunt.
A 7-yard sack on first down, quarterback run here for Daniels. And he slides to make it 3rd down and manageable. 3rd down and 8. Another Tennessee blitz. Long throw. Fit into Malik Neighbors. That was a terrific throw from Jaden Daniels. A tight window. And Neighbors has the 3rd down conversion. Emery. A jump cut. Flag down. He is tough to bring down. Close to a 1st down if the play stands.
Holding, offense number 50. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
4-man rush, long throw. Brian Thomas. He's bumped out of bounds by Wesley Walker.
You got soft coverage to the bottom of the screen. You can throw and catch.
Again, a 4-man rush. Reaching up, climbing the ladder, Brian Thomas. He might have the 1st down. And it looks like it will be 3rd down and 1 for LSU to start the 2nd quarter. Special teams, a big reason why Tennessee has the early lead. Bash the muff. The touchdown run got things started for Jabari Small. Welcome back to Baton Rouge and welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. I am getting hungrier and hungrier looking at these tailgates. ESPN College Football presented by Marathon. Feels like a marathon till I have a chance to sample that after the game. Start of the 2nd quarter. 3rd down and 1 for LSU. Down a couple of touchdowns. Bob Wischusen, Dan Orlovsky, and Chris Budden, and Todd McShay, all here at Tiger Stadium. Two tight ends on 3rd down and short. Play action. Daniels looking downfield. He wanted a big one. Instead, he's out of the pocket and has to throw it away. 4th down and 1 near midfield.
The only way that you call that play call is if you are anticipating going for it on 4th down. You're taking a shot on 3rd and 1. I think Tennessee gets away with a little bit of a tug. Brian Kelly frustrated. But the only reason you call that play is if you have made the decision beforehand that you're going to be aggressive on 4th.
Same group on the field. 2 tight ends. Ray Jenkins in motion again. Straight ahead run. Extra effort. Josh Williams is not going to get there. Tennessee does it again on 4th down. Karat Garland, Aaron Beasley, both in the mix for the Vols.
Bobby, watch Beasley shoot the A-gap in between the center and guard right now. Bop! Right there. Totally stops that play before it happens. Lines up at a little bit of depth, shoots the gap. What incredible play by Beasley. Senior, very talented blitzer, and they put him right in the middle of that defense and said, you trigger off that center snap. And he met Josh Williams right in that hole.
Tennessee is the #1 scoring team in the SEC, #2 in the nation. As Hooker looks downfield in the end zone, he's got Hyatt for the touchdown. One snap, Jalen Hyatt to the house. You're asking for trouble, Dan, when you give the #1 offense in your league 3 possessions on your side of the 50, and that's what Tennessee has had.
That's a great point. Tennessee has remained aggressive offensively. LSU has put their defense in a little bit of harm's way with some mistakes. Tennessee capitalizes.
The defense gets it done, Dan, and the offense capitalizes.
Great stop defensively by Tennessee. They come right back on the field and say, we got Jalen Hyatt, a slot receiver that can run with anybody in America. Hendon Hooker did a beautiful job, a ball fake. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Plenty of potential NFL talent in this matchup between LSU and Tennessee. Tennessee with a 3-touchdown lead, even without Cedric Tillman unable to play today. And we've got Todd McShay, our draft expert, with us to talk more about these guys. And Paxton Brooks sends it deep. And this will come out to the 25-yard line on the touchback. Todd.
Yeah, I've been so impressed, and talked to Dan too about this. First of all, the patience for Hendon Hooker, and also just understanding what's going on in the pocket presence that he has. He's mobile, but even watching Will Levis, who's going to be a first-round pick out of Kentucky last week, he doesn't have the same presence that Hendon Hooker does. And the other thing that Hooker does so well is the deep ball. He just understands trajectory, timing, when to get the ball out, and then the ball placement down the field. He's without Cedric Tillman, who's another first-round prospect that we're talking about at wide receiver, but he's got plenty of speed, and we're seeing that so far from this Tennessee offense.
I completely agree, Todd. We just saw the deep ball. That throw that he just hit on the touchdown to Jalen Hyatt is absolutely perfect. It's out of his hand on time. The trajectory of the throw is perfect no matter if the coverage is there or not. The pocket movement is something that is such an underrated thing. And it's also a testament to Hendon because of the reps he has in college football. He's played a lot of football, and he has developed that sense in the pocket and feel off color that is sometimes impossible to simulate.
Jaden Daniels missed Jaray Jenkins. It'll be 2nd down and 10. This drive starting at the 30-yard line because Tennessee was offside on the kick. So they got 5 yards, did LSU, but now they've got a lineman down. In a year plus, he's got 40 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions. Those are Aaron Rodgers numbers.
Again, a little bit is because of the way that they play in the space that's created, but you still have to go make those throws, and he has made some high-level throws that if it was C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, we would be raving about across the country.
Daniels, one-on-one down the sideline, incomplete for Mason Taylor. LSU doing a pretty good job of picking up the blitz, but Daniels and his receivers have not been able to take advantage.
Yeah, Tennessee comes after him. It's a pretty good ball when it comes to placement by Jaden Daniels. Their Mason Taylor, the freshman from Plantation, Florida, is going to be a tremendous player. Great genes with his father, but they are asking a lot out of that young man.
3rd down and 10.
Jaden's done a great job in these situations of being a runner when it's presented himself.
5-man rush over the middle into a tight window. He's got Neighbors. Flag down. 1st down. Daniels again squeezes it into a tight window. 2nd down and short here, and that time the ball fake didn't work. Danico Slaughter had Daniels as his responsibility, and he made a nice tackle. We're in the 2nd quarter, and Dan, why do you think this is? Why is he so much better a quarterback in the 2nd and 4th quarter?
Part of it is you get into a little bit of the rhythm of the game in the 2nd quarter, and then you go to halftime. And then you get into the rhythm of the game as you get into 4th quarter. Urgency, I think, is a big thing. He gets a little bit more urgent at the end of the half and at the end of the game. And the more and more he just gets comfortable trusting his eyes, the better as a player he is.
Blitz on 3rd down. Daniels under pressure. And he goes down back at the 43-yard line. Latrell Bumpus got through first. It's a loss of 8.
Really a 5-man front, but an internal stunt. I want everyone to watch. These guys' job is to play pick game, okay, defensively. And then what happens is you wrap around. You collapse the middle of that defensive line. You wrap around with Bumpus, and it becomes a sack. They put 5 guys across the line of scrimmage. A pick game internally. Bump the center off. The guard has to follow. Bumpus replaces. They've done a great job so far defensively in their stunt game and passing situations.
Bramblett will try and pin Tennessee deep if he can, and it just rolls into the end zone. So Tennessee will have it at their own 20-yard line when we come back. The pass rush gets home on Jaden Daniels. Tennessee without a win in this series since 2006. But off to a great start today. Hendon Hooker breaks a tackle and dives out for a gain of 5 to begin this drive as Ali Gay missed the tackle.
Look how wide these splits are, Bob. The space that's created in the middle of the field for that.
A dive for about 3, maybe 4.
You know, when you play so wide and spread out offensively, 1, it creates a bunch of one-on-one matchups. 2, your offensive line knows I really only got to block the people in the box because bodies are so far to the sideline.
Dylan Sampson, the true freshman tailback, got the ball to 3rd down and 1 and stays in there to try to keep the drive alive. Still time on the play clock. Although it looks like Josh Heupel's going to want a timeout from the sideline before 3rd down and 1. Tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on the SEC Network, you can see the latest episode of True South with John T. Edge. He travels around Madisonville and Camp Benton, Tennessee, meeting the locals, eating good food, and talking about the South. Again, that's True South tomorrow night at 8 Eastern on the SEC Network.
You know, Bobby, we've talked a little bit about this Tennessee offense and their splits, right? They really do put people towards the sidelines consistently. and it forces you as a secondary. You got to play. You have to respect it because they'll throw it out there. So you got to play those one-on-ones. And their offensive line, even with the tempo, they don't have to live in a perfect world because the amount of people you could actually have down near the ball is so minimized. And they do this. They spread you out. Now they shrink you down on 3rd and short. He's trying to get into the most ideal direction to run this football. Should be off to his left.
Instead, it's an end around. McCoy's got the first down.
Really good job setting the front. McCoy's winged essentially as a tight end, and they just hand it off to him, one of those jet sweeps. He does a good job of just getting vertical. Good play call.
Hooker pulls it down and goes down after a 2-yard gain. Ali Gay held the edge. And again, there are the wide splits for Tennessee with wide receivers outside the numbers. Play action for Hooker. He's going to take a shot, looking for one of those receivers. It's Keaton, flag out. Ramel Keaton will draw a pass interference penalty on Colby Richardson.
Pass interference. Defense number 22. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
This is the stress, though. It's totally one-on-one. You are completely on an island if you're Richardson. Watch the right arm grab the shoulder there. Absolutely the right call. But that's that feeling. We've harped on these splits, and you've heard the phrase, well, corner's on an island. Because of that split, he truly is one-on-one on that island, and Tennessee is unapologetic about taking their shots.
We've always heard in the NFL is a lot of teams copying the Sean McVay, keep the receivers kind of in tight to the formation, and then let them run out to that space. This is the opposite, but at times, Dan, has the same effect.
Well, look at all the area now that you've created, right? You've got so much of a vacancy in the middle of the field. And this play's a perfect example of it, Bob. You can get soft at the corner position, and we see throws like that, or you can play press like we just saw Richardson do, and that's when Tennessee's like, okay, my quarterback doesn't have to make perfect throws. We win at the line of scrimmage. We've got a chance to go get one-on-one with a ton of area.
And they'll run it on 2nd and 5 with Dylan Sampson. Only a gain of a yard, so another chance for the LSU defense. They'll bring a blitz. Hooker's blown up behind the line. It's picked up by the freshman Sampson. Dylan Sampson breaks a tackle, tries to get to the first down marker, and gets bumped out of bounds 2 yards short. After Tennessee's final time out of the first half, they're going for it, Dan, keeping their foot on the gas pedal, 4th and 2. Your thoughts?
I think they should punt here. LSU has no good momentum going in this game. Don't give them a short field.
Small empties the backfield. Handed Hooker. Shovel pass, and it works to perfection. 4th down and 2. They keep that foot on the gas pedal, and Princeton fan has the first down.
Yeah, a little shovel pass coming right at you, that defensive end. Gay goes upfield, and you just dump it off underneath the fan. He gets it by about 1.5 yards. Aggressive play call by Josh Heupel. Must have been something situationally he loved to make that call.
It's almost like dipping into the playbook for your best 2-point conversion play.
Yeah, you're trying to get
like
3-4 yards. Totally.
That kind of play. And it works perfectly. Wide receiver screen. Heaton had to reach out for it.
This now becomes a mandatory win series for LSU. 2nd and 10 against this offense that is so predicated on the first down and then tempo.
Errant pass from Hooker. He had Jalen Hyatt set up for a screen, as LSU was very slow to trot players out there defensively, and they dodged one. He and Gay next to each other. Here comes that rush over the middle, incomplete. So Paxton Brooks will try and pin LSU as deep as possible. Angles a kick, hoping for his teammates to be down there. High it is. Tennessee, perfectly executed. LSU will start inside their own 5-yard line. Let's check our Aflac trivia question for today. All right, Dan, I'm not sure you took a peek at this one. We'll see. 24 years, 8 months, and 25 days. Hendon Hooker is the 2nd oldest active starting quarterback in the SEC. Who's the oldest?
The guy's almost 25.
There's another one out there. That's about 2.5 months older, or so I believe.
You want me to answer it now or wait?
Well, I mean, maybe keep some suspense for the audience.
All right. I think I know it. Got a great haircut.
John Emery to the left of Daniels in the end zone. Daniels to throw. Long throw outside the numbers and finds its way through. Quarterback run for Daniels. Into the secondary, but it looks like we've got a flag down back at the line of scrimmage. Now Dellinger out as well. Rolling that way, Daniels. Gets to the sideline, just dumps it off, and finds Malik Neighbors, and Neighbors backs his way close to a first down. Emery on 2nd and 1. Didn't get there. Tyler Barron swamps him under at the line of scrimmage. So now it's 3rd down and 1 for LSU.
And right now, if you're offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock, the reality with 2 guys on your left side to Chris's report, how much does that impact your playbook, specifically on downs like this, 3rd and 1, where you normally may have the option to run left, you might lean to your right side since that's your starting unit.
Emery has the first down. He's in the slot left. Daniels looks right instead. One-on-one down the sideline, incomplete. Hoping for Neighbors. Kamal Haddon looked like he had him blanketed up the sideline with good coverage.
Yeah, stop and go. So Neighbors pushes vertical. Haddon doesn't bite on the double move. Squeezes to the sideline. That's good coverage. Really the discipline of not being aggressive on that first down play call. I don't mind the double move out of LSU. Credit the defense. Kamal Haddon does a really good job of being patient and making sure that he doesn't be overly aggressive.
Ryan Thomas got a first down and gets a couple extra after contact. Now LSU ups the tempo. Flags everywhere. We'll have to check the penalty marker as Besh makes a catch for 4. Blitz coming. It gets picked up again. Daniels extending the play. Flag in the secondary. He breaks a tackle. Turns the corner. There goes Jaden Daniels. Scrambles for a first down. It's a give instead for Josh Williams. He's got a yard and a half. Latrell Bumpus made the stop. LSU, no stranger to comebacks this season. They were down 3 scores to Auburn and found a way on the road to come back and win.
If I'm Mike Denbrock, play caller, this ball is getting into number 7, Kayshon Bouttie's hands. He is right here. I'm doing everything I can play call wise to make sure he gets the ball on this play.
Daniels looks that way. Out of the pocket, and now he's got nowhere to go. Sacked for a loss of about 5. And he gets up with a little hitch at his giddy-up, and now we've got a 3rd down and long for LSU.
Yeah, he's got Jenkins to his left coming underneath Boutte. Ball gets held. That's what I was talking about before in this drive. You got to understand that left tackle's new. There's going to be a little bit quicker clock for you.
One of the great stories in college football, Byron Young got through first for Tennessee. We'll have to hear that story coming up later with Todd McShay. Daniels on 3rd down. Slant. He's got the catch. Leaping for the goal line. Mason Taylor. Did he get in? They'll mark him down inside the 1. Tempo. The dive at the goal line for Josh Williams. He's in. That's an LSU touchdown. Plenty of time before halftime. Get one more crack at it here. With no timeouts is Tennessee. We've got a top 10 team here in Tennessee that just surrendered a touchdown. But of course, they're the most up-tempo offense in college football, so no timeouts shouldn't bother them with 3 minutes to go in the half. Ripping one. Hyatt thought he had his jersey tugged. I think he did, as Hooker was looking for Hyatt running the seam.
Yeah, he did. Watch Jay Ward's left hand, left side of the screen. Yep. And got away with it. What's the saying? It's only cheating if you get caught.
2nd down and 10. They'll run it with Small, and he gets free. Jabari Small to midfield.
And it caught LSU in a pressure. Anytime you run the football versus a blitz, guys are being displaced because of slanting.
Small again.
See how
The
quick?
43-yard line.
Bob, you see how quick it happens? In 30 seconds, we go from incompletion to 40 yards down the field. You got to be so precise with everything that you're doing defensively, because I don't need all 11 to be wrong, just one.
Small again. Backs his way close to the 1st down. You know who has the toughest job? Jalen Wright. Flag down. A couple thrown. Back at the line of scrimmage. 1st and 20. That's Hyatt in motion. Drew McCoy. Close to the 40-yard line. Bumped out, it looks like, at the 41.
And the 1st down hold is on Jerome Carvin, their left guard. Him and Sproggin's the right guard. They're both NFL players.
Hand off on 2nd and long to Jalen Wright. And it looks like he got back close to the original line of scrimmage, actually passed it by a couple, so 3rd down. And a long 8 close to 9.
Great job by LSU rallying right there and getting set up defensively. That forces Tennessee, okay, we don't have them with our tempo. Now let's get into a different formation that we like. This has been the guy, Jalen Hyatt, that they've gone to.
Hyatt makes the catch and gets thrown down. Now you'd think LSU might have to call timeout, right? Let's see if they do, and yes, they will. Brian Kelly calls a timeout from the sideline before 4th down with a minute to go, and LSU still with a chance maybe to get the ball back before the half. So it gives us a chance to answer today's Aflac trivia question. All right, Hendon Hooker, 24 years, 8 months, and 25 days old. The 2nd oldest active starting quarterback in the SEC.
Stetson Bennett.
The oldest? Did you look?
No, man.
You nailed it. Stetson Bennett is going to celebrate a birthday in less than a month, and he'll turn 25.
Well, didn't Stetson, I believe the story, kind of walked on at a couple different either JUCO or community colleges and then walks on to Georgia, so I knew his journey had to take it a little bit more time.
Well, he and Hendon Hooker are 2 of the great perseverance stories
absolutely.
to then arrive as quarterbacks in this league. And you heard Todd McShay talk earlier about what Hendon Hooker's kind of under the radar NFL potential is, not mentioned in the first breath by a lot of folks that throw out the quarterbacks you think are going to be big time players in next year's draft, but he could be a factor.
He's going to be much higher on NFL draft boards than we all anticipate.
So after the timeout, it's a 50-yard field goal attempt, and did LSU just use another timeout from the sideline?
Think about Hendon Hooker's journey, Bob. 24 years old. He's in college for 6th year. He's lost the starting quarterback job twice. Coach has been fired. Never flinched. He never flinched, never stopped believing in himself. And I think that's going to be one of the appealing kind of like characteristic things that the NFL guys will be very interested in outside of his talent.
What's the secret sauce that's been unlocked by Josh Heupel? Because Hendon Hooker threw more touchdowns last season in 1 year than he did in 3 years at Virginia Tech.
Simplicity. And when offense is simple for quarterbacks, they play fast. They're convicted in what they look at. We've talked about those splits today, right? In their pass game, their splits are often so wide. You're reading as a quarterback outside in 1-2, inside out 1-2, or in the middle field high to low. And it allows you to play really quickly and you make convicted decisions.
So now only 1 timeout left for LSU as they spent 2 timeouts before this field goal attempt of 50 yards from McGrath. Certainly has the distance, hits the upright. Blitz on first down. High throw. Right between the numbers, a crosser to Jaray Jenkins. Now a four-man rush. Another good pocket. Incomplete. It was Jenkins. That ball may have been tipped.
If you catch that ball outside the numbers, you're getting out of bounds. Work the middle of the field if you get two high safeties.
And only 10 yards away from where Brian Kelly said he was comfortable with Damian Ramos kicking a field goal. Another blitz. Daniels on the run. Heaves it to the sideline just to throw it away. And now it will be 3rd down and 10. Roman Harrison was tracking Jaden Daniels.
Tennessee dials up a pressure there. So if you're Jaden Daniels in this moment right now, first question is, if I'm getting pressure, where does the ball go? I want him to replace the blitzer. Wherever they come from, throw into it. If I don't get pressure, I'm telling you, Tennessee is giving you completions to the outside. Don't try to do too much. We just talked about Hendon Hooker with simplicity. Play simple mentally.
Daniels. Shovel pass. Dropped.
And they're going to try to get them to jump off sides with cadence.
Here comes the blitz. Daniels, he's going to get sacked on 4th down. Back on LSU's side of the 50. So with 23 seconds to go, Tennessee is only about 15 yards away or so from being in field goal range as Byron Young got through and brought down Daniels. The decision backfires.
Well, you're going to get pressure overload to this side. So what Tennessee, or excuse me, LSU does is push their offensive line that way. But here comes Young. That's inside seam right there. You get left guard, center, right guard. They push all the way to the field. And now Young comes inside of the replacement at left tackle, and that creates that void. When you get overload pressure to one side, you got to commit numbers. Now Tennessee defensively got what they want. Byron Young, who's got an incredible story, gets that one-on-one matchup, he wins. I thought LSU was overly aggressive there. Let's see if it hurts them.
The 4th time in the first half, Tennessee has begun a drive in LSU territory. And in Hooker. Down the sideline. Incomplete. Jalen Hyatt. So it's the spacing of those splits that influences those two safeties.
Those safeties, I mean, look at them. Look how wide they are. I mean, they are in between the hash and the numbers. The middle of the field is vacated.
Hooker looks over the middle. There it is. But missed a wide open receiver in Princeton Fant. A first down would get them inside of possible field goal range. Hooker. And he has it on time. All the way down to the 15-yard line to Brew McCoy. 6 seconds to go, so plenty of time to spike it.
Yep.
And there it is. So going for it on 4th down and getting sacked by LSU has now given Tennessee a chance to get more points before halftime.
What a great job by Tennessee. They forced LSU to stay in those two high safeties. They kept those splits super wide. It forced them, and the void in the middle of the field just remained. And all you needed to do was hit one from Hendon Hooker, and he did.
McGrath missed from 50, but he's made his other 2. This one from only 32. And there it is. So Tennessee adds to their lead at the half, and the Vols will start the 3rd quarter with the football as well. Well, the Vols fans that are here in numbers, they love the first 30 minutes of this football game as they saw their team capitalize on some special teams gaffes in the first quarter, and they have extended their lead at the break, 23-7. LSU's got a couple of double-digit comebacks in the SEC already. They came from 17 down last week against Auburn, and now a similar deficit that they'll be facing in the second half here at home to Tennessee. Let's head down to Chris Budden.
Coach, you guys have been aggressive in the play calling on 4th down. What went into that last decision on 4th down?
Yeah, it's a go. We're down. You know, we obviously can't give up a sack in that situation. We gave up a 10-yard sack, put them in a good situation, and then it's fourth down there, and we don't reroute it inside. But we got to coach better. We're getting out coached.
I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Well, we'll see if LSU can rebound in the second half, but Tennessee with a dominant first 30 minutes. At the break, 23-7. The Vols on top. Back to Matt Barry in the studio.
Welcome back to the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Marathon, the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week. And you are watching the SEC on ESPN. 23-7. Tennessee has the lead at halftime, just about set for the start of the third quarter. Bob Wischusen here with Dan Orlovsky, Chris Budden, Todd McShay in Death Valley, and Hendon Hooker was tremendous in the first half again.
It started because of an LSU mistake, and then they convert that into a Jabari Small touchdown. The deep ball to Jalen Hyatt. If there's a better throw in college football today, I gotta see it, because this one is absolutely perfect. Hendon Hooker has been in complete control of this football game, both as a decision maker and where he's throwing the ball. Tennessee relatively impressive to the first 30 minutes.
And starting the second half with the ball will be the Vols. And they'll have it just shy of their own 25-yard line after the run back by Holiday. Well, you said something interesting. The scoreboard doesn't necessarily lean this way. You said you didn't think LSU played poorly in the first half.
Okay, so the early fumble becomes a touchdown. If you take that away, and I know it happens, but if you take that away, they've hit one big play, Tennessee offensively, truly, the Jalen Hyatt touchdown. So their defense has kept the ball in front of them. I think there's been some game mismanagement situations. I thought they should have kicked a field goal early on, and when it was 10-0 to get some momentum. They were overly aggressive at the end of the first half on 4th and 10. That gives them Tennessee 3 points right there. So if you kind of take that situational football away, and I love Brian Kelly, but there's been some over-aggressive decision-making.
Hooker's going to take a shot to start off the third quarter, and a flag is out. Jay Ward looks like he's going to get called for pass interference.
Pass interference, defense number 5, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And they're going to take their shot. We showed the highlight of the one that happened in the first half. Very similar play. Ward right at the end there as Wyatt's kind of fading towards the sideline. That left arm right there scrapes across the top. And they throw PI. And the Jalen Ward in the slot speed is one of these dimensions of this offense that really difficult for your slot defender to have to match up against.
So the ball's in business. Hendon Hooker on a keeper. And he'll slide for a gain of about 4, and a late flag comes out. Ali Gay gave Hooker a little bit of a bump as he went down into the slide. We'll see if that's the call. Well, they got off the field on 4th down. End around. Squirrel White about 1.5 yards shy of the first down. Dan, you talked about some of those LSU game management decisions. Well, give Tennessee's defense credit.
Sure.
3 4th downs, and they got off the field 3 times. A little flip out into the flat. Did White hold that in? He's right at the first down line to gain, and it looks like Squirrel White, the freshman, just got enough.
Great job by Squirrel White. They bring him from the left side of the formation to the right. Floats it out there. Incredible job of getting his hands underneath.
Play action for Hendon Hooker, but flags stop this play at the snap. It's a false start. Counter handoff to Jalen Wright. Spinning, breaking tackles. What a run by Wright. That was 7 yards, just about all of it after contact.
See the patience though, patience. Then behind the back, then just the strength, the athleticism, the spin off the tackle from Jay Ward. Love that out of the sophomore.
Quick hitter out to the edge. It's Hyatt. Jarek Bernard Converse knocked him out of bounds. And it looks like they will mark him just shy of the first down. So it's 3rd down and 1.
Bringing in some bigger bodies. Looks like Small coming back in. They're bringing in a tight end. Salmon trying to add some size on the edge of their offense.
Jabari Small, and he's got the first down. DJ Ojulari made the stop, but it's a first down for Tennessee at the LSU 40.
One of the underappreciated things for this Tennessee offense is when they kick that ball out to the perimeter, you know, I catch it, I flash the ball for a second. Those receivers got to do a really good job of not going downfield and blocking. That's how OPI happens. They got to kind of stay in place and become a screen of the defense.
Quarterback draw. Hendon Hooker into the red zone. Gets walloped inside the 15, but he's down to about the 14-yard line. A 26-yard design quarterback run.
That's the space that we talked about. Everyone's vacated the middle of the field. Your tailback can lead up there because you got great numbers. Tennessee and Hendon Hooker take advantage of it. We've talked about it so much and how the elements of it help. The receivers, line, there it helps quarterback draw.
He had 461 yards of total offense and 3 touchdowns against Florida. And he's picking right up where he left off to the end zone. It's another touchdown. Again, it's Jalin Hyatt. The second time today that Hendon Hooker has found Jalin Hyatt, and Tennessee extends their lead.
Watch the safety creep. You're going to see that Hendon Hooker is going to pay attention to it. He's going to change the play at the line of scrimmage. I'm going to see the vacated middle of the field. I want to take my shot to my receiver in that slot. Ball out on time. I know you've left because of the pressure, and a beautiful shot by Hendon Hooker. That is ownership at the line of scrimmage. Tennessee up big.
Welcome back to LSU, where Tennessee has extended their lead 30-7. The Vols on top as they go right down the field and score a touchdown to begin the second half. Does LSU have a response? Paxton Brooks kicks it deep. And Besh with a fair catch at the goal line. Let's take a closer look at the offensive line for LSU with pocket protection. Brought to you by Nationwide, and they've struggled at times, Dan, to keep the pass rush off Jaden Daniels.
They've had some backups in the left side of their offensive line, but let's credit Tennessee as well. They've thrown a lot at this unit, and there's been some ups like you talked about and some downs, but this relentless unit from Tennessee and their pass rushers, Josephs and Bumpus and Byron Young, have had an incredibly impressive afternoon. This defensive line, when they're rolling, and we talked to their defensive coordinator, Tim Banks, if he gets that team to just, unit-wise, take a step forward, they think they got something special on their defensive side of the ball.
Ray Jenkins, close to a first down. And it looks like he's got it.
I talked to you guys this week. I said the thing that I thought was more impressive, at least to my surprise, Tim Banks on the right side of our screen there, was their defense. I knew their offense was great. But if their defense just fixed some of the discipline on the back end, some of the communication and discipline, they're athletic, they're aggressive, they're violent, and they're having a good afternoon.
Josh Williams bounces ahead for 2.
That's the thing, right, for Tennessee? About like their offense is going to score points basically on anybody. Can their defense be the complementary unit? You don't need to be the best defense in the country nor the SEC, but can you be complementary enough? Can you tackle well in space? Can our front four rush the passer when there's opportunities on second and longs like LSU's facing right now? They have free access to the top.
Here comes another blitz. Down the sideline, tipped, incomplete. They have not targeted Keyshawn Booty often. They tried there.
He's in the slot. He runs the slot fade. Ball's on a little bit of a line. Gets on his left hand right there. That's a pretty good throw by Jaden Daniels. Can't throw it much better. It almost looks like his hands are late to that football.
Good coverage, though, from Tamarian McDonald. And that's the first time that Booty has been targeted since the first quarter. And now it's 3rd down and 8. Pass rush. Gets home. Again! Down goes Jaden Daniels. Byron Young in the backfield. Again, first helped out by Roman Harrison.
All right, here's the ET again. You're going to go Barron and then Young. Split that right side and left side of that defensive line. The end goes first and the tackle follows. And you're creating just distribution differences. That offensive line get on the different levels. And that 2-man stunt, that's been the game for defense, for Tennessee's defense all afternoon. Those 2-man stunts, man.
Line drive kick. Williams lets it get over his head, and it will roll sideways. What a punt. Bramblett gets it to the 3-yard line.
Man, the pressure from Tennessee's defensive line has been the story of the afternoon. Young, Barron, and Bumpus been dominant.
Welcome back to Baton Rouge, and one of the standout players today has been Tennessee defensive lineman Byron Young. And I love his backstory. This is a young man who was a non-qualifier out of high school. He went to work for a year before enrolling at Gulf Coast Prep Academy. The academy turned out to be a fraud. Then he had to go work again. He was working at the general store as a manager. He saw a flyer on the wall. It said, anyone who wants to come try out for Georgia Military College, please do so. He decides to pursue his career there, plays 2 seasons. 2 years later, he's here starring for Tennessee, and he's going to be a mid-round draft pick.
That's amazing. Todd McShay with the background as Jamari Small goes up the middle on Byron Young. It'll be 2nd down and 8. But a guy's working at the Dollar General, sees a flyer on the wall. Just come out, try out for football at Georgia Military Junior College. Byron Young does, and off of his practice tape, even during COVID, he got recruited and ends up at Tennessee, and now he's on NFL draft boards. Play action for Hooker from the goal line, 1-on-1. Incomplete.
Can I just touch on the Byron Young story real quick?
Yes.
I think it's a great example of one of the not talked about enough beauties of college football. I mean, Byron, what does his life look like without college football and the opportunity that beautiful? I mean, great job by Todd of telling that story of, college football literally changes that young man's life, and the fact that 2 or 3 years ago he's working at a store, now he's going to have the chance to live out a dream and make a living. Beautiful.
3rd down, hook up to Brew McCoy. Gets driven back at the 20-yard line, but LSU had a chance on 3rd down and 8 defensively to get a stop and have Tennessee punting from the end zone, and instead, Brew McCoy picks up 13.
I think the thing that I've been most impressed with Brew McCoy is the route running.
They waste no time getting it out to Keaton, flag down, and the helmet pops off of Ramel Keaton as well, and another flag comes in.
LSU wants any shot to get back in this football game. They have to get off the field here now that Tennessee is backed up.
And field position on their side as well. Hooker on the move, and he is tracked down. Greg Brooks. Quarterback draw. The ball pops out! There's a scramble for it, but it looks like the ball's got it. Ali Gay. Still a 3rd down chance for LSU's defense. Thrown into traffic, broken up.
I don't think LSU got their people off the field.
There's a flag down on the near side, high at the intended receiver, but we'll have to check the marker.
Illegal substitution, defense. More than 11 players on the field. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
The pace of Tennessee got the ball snapped before all of those LSU defenders got out.
Watch this group, get ready. You can freeze it right now. This group of guys, all 3 out of those 4 have to get off. They don't. that really equals 13. Remember, the whole body's got to be off. 13 guys were on the field defensively for LSU. I mean, if you're LSU, you anticipate coming after Tennessee. You might get an opportunity for Brew McCoy right at the bottom of the screen.
Tipped ball, incomplete. McCoy was the intended receiver. Paxton Brooks with a wobbly kick up the sideline. And this is going to take a great Tennessee roll. It stays inbounds all the way down to about the 28-yard line of LSU. That's a 49-yard punt. Looked like half of it was on the roll as we take a look at this week's college football AP rankings, brought to you by Capital One. And still a lot of top 10 action to come later on today, but certainly a score that stands out. Michigan, as Matt Barry said earlier, allowing Indiana to hang in there, only a touchdown game. So Dan, LSU does not end up with nearly as short a field as I'm sure they probably thought they would have on that exchange, but they've got it back.
There's pressure here and dropper there.
There's the slant, incomplete. Well defended by Kamal Hatton, but a flag out.
Those are little pre-snap tells that this offense needs to take advantage of.
Screen, nothing doing for Brian Thomas. Jeremy Banks was all over Thomas almost as he caught the ball.
Well, first of all, he runs through two guys. I mean, there's two guys for LSU blocking him. He gets on the outside and then does an outstanding job of wrangling in Thomas. That is not a play design thing. And I understand that some young players out there, but you put two versus their one, we have to win that rep if you're LSU offensively.
Blitz, they throw behind it. Catch made by Kyron Lacey. Back to Matt Barry. Daniels gets it off. A swing pass. Josh Williams goes down. On 3rd down and 8, he loses real estate. And here comes the punt group. And Williams shaken up on the play.
I think that's a little bit of a conservative call given kind of some of the pressure Tennessee has defensively gotten. Remember, 2 backup players on the offensive line right now and a true freshman at right tackle for LSU. When you see a little bit of that bluff pressure, you get an easier or more conservative play call for the screen on the perimeter. And LSU unable to convert.
Low snap, Bramblett gets it away. A. Williams fields it inside the 10-yard line. Well, LSU flips field position, but sooner or later, Dan, there has to be more to it than that when you're down by 3 scores.
Yeah, I just think because Tennessee was backed up, not only location-wise, but 1st and 20, and then LSU's defense gets off the field, you're sitting there going, if we got any chance, we got to go turn it into points, and they were unable to.
Hooker, wide open, Brew McCoy with speed to the sideline, uses the stiff arm, and goes out of bounds across the 50. It was Jarek Bernard Converse one-on-one.
Well, they're going to motion. What happens is when you kick the motion, you get matchups, and this is McCoy now. As this defender's going to run out, McCoy's going to run right down the seam. Beautiful job of Tennessee taking advantage of matchups. You motion the receiver, you get him matched up on a linebacker, he runs down the seam, chunk play.
Jalen Wright gets to the edge, turns the corner, lost the football, but it rolls out of bounds. And it looks to be good enough still for another Tennessee first down. Sage Ryan stripped the ball out, but he was right up against the sideline.
You know, there's so much about this offense for Tennessee that is simple. We've talked about that. Some of the space that is created, the reads 1 to 2, some of the run blocking just that's inside that box, but also the little wrinkles that we just saw with that Brew McCoy huge chunk. The motion, I create a matchup with a big-time receiver, an easy throw for the quarterback. So it's like this illusion that happens super fast.
They have to reset the play clock because the officials were going back and forth on whether or not it was 1st down or 2nd down. When the ball is fumbled forwards out of bounds, you then return it to the spot it was fumbled, which was literally on the line to gain. And of course, Josh Heupel was wondering, am I making a 2nd down and 1 foot play call? Am I making a 1st down play call? And they reset the play clock. It is a Tennessee 1st down.
Just look at all this area. Just look at all that area that Slot can play with if he wants.
Instead, it's Jabari Small. Down to about the 30-yard line. He picks up 4. Jaquelin Roy made the stop. 2nd down and 6.
His offensive line for Tennessee has been better today in their double teams. If you talk to Coach Heupel and their offensive coordinator Alex Golesh, that's what they wanted. We got to be a little bit cleaner in our double teams. They've done that, and better in protection with communication.
Hooker breaking tackles. And gets down to the 26-yard line, 2 yards shy of the 1st down. But Ali Gay had a chance to bring him down behind the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 2. Jabari Small didn't get there. It'll be 4th down and 1.
Tennessee will go for this, as they should.
Well, keep in mind, right now it's a 3-score game. If you kick a field goal here, you go from 23 to 26.
You have no fear right now if you're Josh Heupel of LSU's offense and them scoring against you. And your offense is playing with really good tempo. There's their offensive coordinator in the middle. I was so impressed talking with Alex yesterday, the vision that he has for their offense, the play calling feel that he has. And be aggressive here.
And they are, and they'll get it. Ojulari wrapped up Jabari Small, but not before he was able to pick up the 4th down.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're Josh Heupel in Tennessee, you're not fearing LSU's offense right now.
That's a good point.
If you get stopped, great. Your defense is playing big time football, and they're a little bit handcuffed with their offensive line injuries. But that's why you have a little bit more freedom in that moment to be aggressive. Remember, last time we were down here, LSU decided to vacate the middle of the field, and you saw Jalen Hyatt replace him with the post.
Hendon Hooker with a little shoulder fake. He's going to take a shot towards the back right corner of the end zone. Incomplete. Flag out. Once again, it was Jalen Hyatt looking for the hat trick. Keaton back there as well.
Pass interference. Defense number 22. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
The intended receiver, Colby Richardson, though, is called for pass interference.
I don't know, Bob. I don't know if they'd have deemed that Richardson with that right hand got over the top a little too soon. Talked about it so much that these corners just live on this island against Tennessee.
That'll make it 1st and goal.
Man, how good of a deep ball does Hendon Hooker throw? It's one of the prettier deep balls that I've seen in college football this year. Just the timing that he has with it, the pace, the tempo, the trajectory. It's probably his best throw.
It's 8 straight starts for Hendon Hooker with at least 2 touchdown passes or more. They'll give one here to Small. You know what I also like about this Tennessee offense, Dan?
Yeah.
Is they seem comfortable not going 100 miles an hour when the game situation also calls for it. Here they go quick, and it's Small. Finds a crease and walks into the end zone for another Vols touchdown. Second of the day for Jabari Small.
Watch, you leave with the tight end. That takes a defender away, but the double team between Mays and Carvin are what makes that run. You don't see that here much, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they've played Rocky Top here at Tiger Stadium a lot more often than I'm sure these LSU fans imagined they would. But the Vols faithful that have made their way to Baton Rouge have seen their team put on a dominant performance.
Man, but I'll be honest with you, man, I didn't see this. You know, I told you guys, we talked about it all week, that we thought Tennessee was really good. Like, they are very deserving of their number 8 ranking. But I did not expect to see LSU. We talked about a little bit mismanagement maybe in the first half, but I mean, they've been pushed around. They haven't made play on the perimeter. Some of the injuries up front have certainly hurt them, but I did not expect this from LSU.
Fair catch for Besh at the 11-yard line. As we take a look at the SEC Spotlight, brought to you by T-Mobile, and this still to come today. Here comes a run blitz. Payne in behind it. Jalen McCullough was a free runner, and Kane got 3 yards as McCullough was in on the stop. And Ohio State and Michigan State coming up at 4 Eastern on ABC. Can the Spartans slow down Ohio State?
Here comes pressure off the left side.
Daniels. The intended receiver was Jenkins. Good coverage by Christian Charles. Let's go down to Chris.
Bob, to Dan's point of that we didn't see this kind of game coming. Brian Kelly told us yesterday, my team plays with a lot of heart and grit, but heart and grit aren't going to beat the top teams in the SEC. We got to pay attention to detail more. So he had his players watch video of Kobe Bryant, some of his press conferences, where he talked about practicing with precision, paying attention to detail. I want them to learn those kind of things if we're going to be able to be a championship team at some point.
He kind of talked about championship habits. You know,
Delayed game, defense number 24, disconcerting signals. It's a 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Take some time. It absolutely is going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of conversations. You heard that with Brian Kelly and Keyshawn Booty, you know, throughout the past couple weeks. It's going to take time for him to get these kids to doing it the right he wants.
Noah Kane gets loose down the sideline on 3rd down. So there's a chunk play for the LSU offense. They cross the 50. Here
comes pressure off his left side.
And his right. Kyron Lacey able to button hook. Daniels quarterback draw. Dodging tacklers to the 30-yard line. Daniels improvising. Uses the stiff arm and gets dragged down. Aaron Beasley another tackle, and that will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Tennessee making a statement on the road at Death Valley. Offensively, defensively, special teams as well. It's been all balls. Boy, that guy looks like I'm sure a lot of LSU fans feel.
Wake up, guy. Let's go.
Start the 4th quarter. 37-7 Tennessee on top of LSU. 2nd down and 9 to begin the 4th. Daniels chased again. Flag down. He's going to hoist one back right corner of the end zone. It's caught for a touchdown. We'll see if the Malik Neighbors score stands.
Big time player for this program. Local kid out of Catholic high school, but he got caught with one there.
This is Kyron Lacey. And he fights his way to the 35-yard line before he is stopped by Kamal Hatton.
That's the thing for this offense that is so frustrating for me and confused. They are so talented on the outside. They just have to figure out a way to consistently allow the talent to actually be a part of the football game.
This play blown dead as Jeremy Banks was part of a group of Vols that jumped off, and he was in the backfield.
Offside, defense number 33.
Have some good moments.
Coming back to make the catches, Neighbors. Now, having said that, last season, Booty had 9 touchdowns in only 6 games played.
I'm not saying that he is, but just sometimes on tape.
I mean, to Chris Spudden's point at the start of the game, you're not having a quarterback calling a meeting with the wide receivers to clear the air
when everything's going well.
If things are
sure, and we asked Brian
swimming.
Kelly about it, right? And Brian Kelly said, no. He has been phenomenal in practice. He is engaged. He works as hard as we could ever ask him to. I can't necessarily pinpoint on why the lack of production with him, when I am seeing a little bit of a connection between the quarterback and some of the other guys.
Yep. Four-man rush on 2nd and 9. Nowhere to go with the football for Daniels. Finally unloads to the sideline, but does not hook up with Kyron Lacey as he juggled it, and it fell out of bounds, so it will be 3rd down and 9. Instead, underneath, it's Thomas.
New coaching staff, there's been just a lot of smoke around this situation, but the bottom line is that Booty is the most talented wide receiver in this upcoming draft class, but he's not showing any of that this season.
Pass interference, defense number 14. The foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line with an automatic 1st down.
It's Neighbors versus Christian Charles. That's tight. Todd, I want to ask you this, man. Does it impact him that they move him or play him in the slot consistently? He's not getting a lot of looks there. Does the NFL see him as a slot guy or a edge guy?
He was more of a perimeter guy last year, and he was the best receiver in college football through 6 games. I mean, he was going to be the Biletnikoff winner if he kept that pace last year.
1st and goal, Jenkins in motion. Keeper. And getting walloped at the 5-yard line is Jaden Daniels. That didn't fool anyone.
Like for me right now, he should be in the game. You know, I get it that we're on the 2-yard line, but if he's as good as talented as a lot of the NFL people are sitting here thinking, my goodness, hey, you go to the sideline, go whoop a dude in a route, and we'll throw it the ball. They got a bunch of big bodies in right now, tight ends. This snap ball getting snapped from the 4 or 5-yard line.
Amari Thomas in on that last stop for Tennessee. And now we've got an injured player as going down is Jalen McCullough. Looks like he might be cramping up. So we'll step aside. An injury timeout with McCullough down. We are back. Tiger Stadium here in Baton Rouge. This is the SEC on ESPN. 37-7, Tennessee on top of LSU. The Vols leading, maybe not a surprise. By this margin, not sure anyone saw this coming. 2nd down and goal, though, after the injury timeout for LSU. Daniels to throw. Rifles one back of the end zone, and there is Booty for the touchdown, his 1st of the season.
Does he get the foot in? I think he does. Great ball placement. Go up and get it.
Yep.
Yep. Right foot up. Imagine that. You throw it to him and he scores.
So they're going to go for 2 to try and make it 37-15. Booty in motion. They look that way. Under pressure, and it will be a 2-point conversion, nullifying sack for the defensive front of Tennessee, led by Amari Thomas. So it remains 37-13 as we step aside here at Tiger Stadium. Nathan Dybert, the freshman kicker, has the ball blow off the tee. Tennessee anticipating an onside kick. Instead, it's a line drive knuckleball that goes through the hands of Jimmy Holiday back into the end zone, so he brings it out. A flag down, and that might be a blindside block potentially called against Tennessee on the run back. We'll see.
During the return, number 24, blocking the back, receiving team, at the distance to the goal, first down.
That we're looking at right now is the one who's benefited a ton from it this year as well.
They start on the ground with Jabari Small. He ends up going down.
I mean, the next month is going to go a long way for this team and his Heisman contendant.
Jabari Small breaks free with a cutback across the 50 before he's finally brought down. 48-yard run.
What a great run off the tackle. Beautiful job by Jabari Small. Watch the vision, the counter. You pull the backside people. He gets the perimeter. Great blocking downfield by Brew McCoy. And one cut in the open field, zigzags back. And Jabari Small has now gone over 100 yards rushing. So we got 230 yards throwing the ball, 230 yards running the football. That's the balance, the ideal balance that any offense is looking for. That's all. I mean, I'm telling you, man, Tennessee can go. They can go. Their offense is incredibly difficult to try to handle, and if their defense plays good football.
Jalen Wright up the middle for a handful. And you made mention of it, Dan. He certainly has some very stiff competition in this way too early, I guess, Heisman favorite group, but he's right there.
Well, Bob, I mean, we're talking about a young man through 5 games right now is going to be well over 1,300, 1,400 yards. He's going to be accounting for 11 touchdowns, does not have any interceptions. They're the #1 offense in college football. They're going to be a top 8, top 7 team depending on what happens in the Michigan game. Like I said, they're going to have Alabama next week, which is going to be huge for both the team and him. And then they're going to have back-to-back weeks of Kentucky and Georgia. He plays in those games like he has all season, and certainly today, he's going to be right at the top of the list, man.
5 on the play clock. As Hooker takes the snap. And nothing doing as Ojulari is there to make the stop for LSU on Jalen Wright. Let's head down to Chris.
Bob talked to Hendon Hooker this week about his progression running this style of offense. He says it's made such a huge difference from last year because over the off season, he got to do a deep dive on the defenses that they opposed last year, and he said it allowed me to just process a lot better. He says, but I love it, and I got to soak it up because I ain't never going to play in this style again. You talk to his teammates, and they're so excited that he's finally getting the national recognition that he is, because he is the unquestioned leader on and off the field for this team.
Well, showing confidence here going forward on 4th down and 3, unless this is just a hard count. Hooker continues to look over to the sideline. Play clock down to 8. He'll throw for it. Flips it in the left flat, and it is caught by Fant for the first down. And Dan, what tells me that you've got the right quarterback.
Yep,
and
you're
you
right.
also have a terrific coaching staff. They're the fastest team in college football. And yet when the game situation calls for it, guys, slow it down. Let's let the play clock wind all the way down. Even on 4th down, they still look completely comfortable running their stuff.
That's one of the things that they talked about with Hendon, with him specifically. Even in their tempo world, if you don't feel like that the play is right, if you don't have the protection the way you want it, slow it down. And imagine how hard that is for a guy that, hey, we want to snap it, snap it, snap it, snap it, snap it.
Well, how often in college football do you see a team that is known for their tempo?
Right.
Maybe they're up 14 with 10 minutes to go, and they're still going fast.
They ruin the game.
Well, they at least, if they aren't able to execute, maximize the amount of time for the team that's down to get the ball back and maybe have 2 or 3 cracks at it. This Tennessee team right now, look at what they're doing.
They've taken almost 6 minutes off already. I mean, situationally really good. I just can't get enough of Hendon Hooker because of what he's been through. I called some of his earlier games when he played for Virginia Tech. The situational maturity. I mean, this is a young man that's also written a children's book on scripture and day trades. You want to be feeling like an unaccomplished adult. Watch what Hendon Hooker has done, man. It makes me feel lazy.
Well, now it's 3rd down and 8 as Jalen Wright gets stood up. But this drive has consumed, coming up on 5.5 minutes time of possession.
I think one of the things, too, that gets underrated when you talk to Josh Heupel, he raves about like the machine-like urgency that Hendon has brought not only to the offense, but the football team, the program that has really elevated everybody's game. We often hear that about quarterbacks, right? Do you make everybody around you better? We so often think directly correlating it to performance. Well, the ability to perform or preparation is impacted as well.
They try to run for it on 3rd down and 8, and they'll get it. Jalen Wright needed 8 and got 9. Micah Baskerville on the stop, but not before Wright picked up the 1st down.
It's the same run that Jabari Small popped for the long gain earlier. They pull the backside people, and Jalen Wright, who's their fastest guy at tailback, follows. I mean, find me the flaw of this offense right now. Just being honest, their quarterback's playing dominant football and total control. They are fast on the outside with Jalen Hyatt. They're big on the outside with Brew McCoy. They're doing this without a guy that's going to be an early draft pick in Cedric Tillman.
He's coming back, though.
Right? I mean, their offensive guards, both Carvin and Spraggins, are NFL players. Their offense right now, it doesn't have a glaring flaw.
Timeout, Tennessee.
Josh Heupel calls timeout. All of a sudden, his team is going too slow.
9 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
Well, Matt, our game here in Baton Rouge has been all Tennessee from the outset for the most part. Here's Jabari Small after the timeout, and he is brought down about a yard behind the line of scrimmage. Although as surprising as our score is, when you heard the Oklahoma-Texas score before that one caught you a bit by surprise.
49 nugget? Like, I didn't expect that, man. That's coming off of TCU hanging 40 or 50 on them last week. I'm shocked at what's going on in Oklahoma right now.
Seven minutes off the clock for Tennessee on this drive. They'll run it again, and Small backs his way for 4. So it will be 3rd down and 7. Baskerville in on the stop, and looks like we have an injured player for LSU. That's Greg Brooks, who was in on the tackle as well.
I got to work with 2 LSU guys all the time, him and Marcus Spears.
Maybe BC pulls off an upset tonight. Then next week, once again, you get to work with an Eagle.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That's not nice. At least leave the door open after the 3rd down timeout. Jitterbugging is Small down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. It'll be 4th down and 4. And the clock will wind down inside of 3 minutes to go. And it looks like to add to the lead, Josh Heupel will send the field goal group out.
What a drive by Tennessee offensively. Took almost, 8 minutes off the clock. 8:20 off the clock. A bunch of it was done within their run game, both Jabari Small and Jalen Wright. Very impressive.
32-yard field goal attempt for Chase McGrath. And he's got another. 40-13. Mike the Tiger really into this one. For a drive that took about 9 minutes off the clock and ended with a field goal. Brooks to kick it deep. And a fair catch by Clayton as we take a look at what is on the horizon for LSU. And
there's a little bit of lack of consistency and kind of efficient operation in it. They got to get it figured out.
A check down to Kane. I remember one time someone asked Bill Parcells, how would you describe a good quarterback?
Okay.
He said a good quarterback does two things. He gets his team in the end zone and his team wins the game. So in spite of the fact that Daniels, as you said, has numbers between the 20s, hasn't thrown an interception, does he get his team in the end zone? As Neighbors makes the catch and spins out to midfield. Or do you have too many disappointing ends of drives?
See. Now, he has never really shown that, maybe outside of his first year at Arizona State, to be that guy. You know, he's never, that's maybe not just who the player he is. I do have to give them, as an offense, a little bit of grace today. When you go out the night before and, oh, our left tackle who's a true freshman, who's a overpowering technician, he's out, and then you lose your left guard. That's hard. So there's a reality of that, but there's a body of work right now for this offense that says the passing game is lacking in their ability to play efficient football. And I said it before, it doesn't make any sense because they are so talented on the perimeter.
Well, back-to-back catches for Kayshon Boutte. He obviously had the touchdown reception earlier in the fourth. And Daniels unloads to Kane.
I think part of it,
about the 23-yard line.
I think part of it in their pass game too, Bob, is they have to figure out who they want to be.
Yep.
Jaden is not this technician who is a ball distributing type of point guard. He's a little bit more of a creative player, go make plays with my feet, and I can generate the potential for explosive plays. But that's not what's needed in this offense given the talent on the outside.
Neighbors with a first down catch to the 13-yard line. And that'll take us down inside of a minute to go.
I'll tell you what, man. Tennessee gets Alabama at home next week. Woo, 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 woo. That is going to be a game.
It's all there in front of the balls.
No doubt, man.
You've got Alabama, you've got Kentucky, you've got Georgia, all in the next month on your schedule.
We will know exactly who Tennessee is by the first week of November.
Daniels with a cutback. Hit hard, but gets down inside the 5-yard line. It'll be first and goal, 23 seconds to go.
If Tennessee stays healthy, as long as they got those two, Josh Heupel and Hendon Hooker, I honestly believe this. If they stay healthy and their defense just plays complementary football and doesn't give up some of the blown assignment plays that they certainly had against Florida, I said this yesterday on Paul Feinbaum's show, I absolutely think they are capable of beating both Alabama and Georgia.
Timeout called by LSU.
Their first of the half. 30-second timeout.
A substitution confusion from the LSU sideline that Brian Kelly was very upset about. Well, it'll be an undefeated Tennessee team taking on Alabama next week. And then the scrimmage with UT Martin, but then Kentucky and Georgia. So you've got a month of football to set the table for whether or not you have a chance to maybe go compete for and win a national championship. It is there for Tennessee. They've got the teams. They've got number 1 and number 2.
Yeah,
head-to-head.
UT Martin catching a stray. Well, what's Bryce Young's health like next weekend will be a big part of Alabama's ability to play that way. Can they block Will Anderson? And then for Georgia, I mean, if they get past Alabama, which is obviously the biggest game they've had in maybe 15 years, I'm telling you, it's all about their defense. Their offense has no questions. If their defense just plays solid, they can beat them both.
Daniels, fade pass for Besh, incomplete. You think Neyland might be slightly above average in terms of volume next weekend?
There's going to be a couple people there. I might try to find a way to get that game. Can we broadcast that one?
Yeah, sure.
You and I?
I'm sure you and I are first in line.
Can the request go out?
Yeah, put the request out. See how it goes. Try the fade left. And that is fought for, and that might have been intercepted. Trey Flowers picks it off. He took it away from Malik Neighbors. And that is the final exclamation point for Tennessee on what will be a 40-13 win. And that's the first interception of the season thrown by Jaden Daniels.
Just trying to get a little bit of a pick or a rub route. Essentially a fade to the back corner. Opportunity ball. Credit Trey Flowers. Baseball background. Big time shortstop. The ability to go track the ball. It's one of his specialties because of it. Really nice interception.
And for the LSU fans, it is way too easy to hear Rocky Top in this stadium right now. But they have been playing it non-stop. As Hendon Hooker takes a knee. And the Vols continue an undefeated start to their season. 40-13 over LSU. And it certainly looks like it will set the table for the matchup that a Vols fan at the start of the season would have given anything to have, right? Their team ranked in the top 10 midway through the season hosting Alabama.
You see what happens with Alabama tonight when they play A&M. If they hang on, they're the #1 team in the country. Tennessee's going to be ranked no lower than 8. It will be incredible. And I'd say this for LSU. Brian Kelly, I don't know if there's a bigger fan of Brian Kelly than me. He will get this place back. He will. He's a program builder. He's going to recruit well, and they will be back shortly.
And Hendon Hooker continues to add to what could be a Heisman season. You never know as we go down to Chris Budden.
Hendon, over 500 yards today on offense. What allowed for you guys to work so smoothly on the offense today?
Just continuing to do what we do on a daily basis, and that's just prepare the proper way and come out here and execute how we want to.
You get a win against Florida, but now you come on the road against a tough LSU team in one of the toughest places to play in the SEC. What does this say about the state of the Tennessee football program right now?
Like I said before, we're just doing what we're supposed to do. Throughout the week, we always was preaching, we're going to be in a hostile environment, so we have to lock in a little bit more, per usual. Just encouraging my guys to keep giving it all every down.
Rocky Top going to be a hostile environment next week when Bama comes to town?
I assume so, yeah.
Appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We also assume so. But if he keeps playing like this, Dan, and the show again he put on today, they're going to be tough for anyone to beat.
He was fantastic. I loved his ability to move the pocket and then leave when it presented himself. The deep ball is as good as anybody in America right now. This ball to Jalen Hyatt is as good as it can get. The master, the ownership of their offense, down in the red zone with the skinny post. The emotion. He knows how good he is. He knows how good this offense is for Tennessee.
40-13. The Vols win it here in Death Valley. For Dan Orlovsky, Chris Budden, Todd McShay, I'm Bob Wischusen. So long from Baton Rouge. Stand by Matt Barry and the company in the studio.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the Southeastern Conference.